this one, as tight as it gets, Crackly. Look at those seedings. 4th and 5th between Free DEDA and Oiling Boil.
And yeah, that is neck and neck right there when it comes to the seeding. And starting off, we're going to be on Coastal Cliffs with Ruse and Delhi against Marlians and JD from Oiling Boil. That's already interesting, starting us off here with Marlians. Delhi is so strong at the moment. I just have to say it at one point. Delhi, really, really strong at the moment. Coastal Cliffs only has 2 sacred sites, but it's very easy to get to them. I'm wondering, can JD and Mali like stop that initial capture of the sacred sites? Because I feel like even if just 1 sacred site gets through to Delhi, that immediately opens up the path for either mass scholars or Castle Age transition.
And big shout out to Dumu. I see Benny Boy bringing all the fans in. We'll be watching him later today. Looking forward to that series, mate. See if we can actually tap Voldemar for one. I'm curious. But opening the series, I mean, I think the most interesting part to me is Joan and Delhi on the board. Historically, Joan fares well there, but she also sucks when she gets blobbed. So that's what I want to see them navigate. Is like, you know, Joan in a nutshell, there in a bubble, should we say, feels good. But in the entire picture, might just get swarmed time and time again. But you know what? It's time to kick off the day. It beckons us in, the call of the sheeps, as game number 1 of Free DEDA versus Oiling Boil is upon us, and we begin this phenomenal journey on a Sunday on Coastal Cliffs.
I'm still upset that it's called Oiling Boil and not Team Saltune.
Oh, yeah, but Bella, they have got a third member. You got to be thoughtful of that, right? I think we had 1 or 2 teams that definitely didn't seem thoughtful of that with their name.
You just make a Boltune with 2 L's.
There you go. Well, you thought of it all, mate. I was thinking like Elephant, right? With the Louis MT and CSO. I'm like, well, now they're going to have to sign Scarlet Devil. Like, I actually think... I was double checking it, and it's kind of hilarious that considering we've got some players on orgs here, like we have 2 players on the right side team on different orgs, for example, we only have 2 official orgs signed up, Volder and Elephant. What is it with players in these team tours? Anyway, we're going to focus on the game a little bit because we have got an interesting opening one here. We talked about it a little bit in the draft. Is Sassy on Joan, Baltune on Marlians. You know, other side of it, you did mention you like this idea that the Delhi should be able to probably get control of sacred sites quite quick. The other worry I have is often when we look at team games, if you don't feel 100% secure and certain that you can win the fights all the time, Joan stays at home. Right? Yeah. She babysits the villagers. She never comes out because the moment she comes out, she runs headfirst into like 15 knights.
A little bit of an interesting opener here from Baltune. I'm just looking at it. He actually built 7 houses around his mining camp there. He actually had 3 villagers on one of his additional straggler trees to another drop-off. I'm not sure if there's like a weird timing with attack that he might want to go for. It's also interesting because both of his goals are relatively far forward, so that does open him up to be a potential victim of early aggression here. They're going to have to play very aggressive themselves, though, in order to deny those sacred sites and be able to keep Delhi from getting into that stage where once that age up comes in, Delhi suddenly unlocks like 5,000 resources of upgrades for free.
Yep. And then the other thing is that Delhi can fuel themselves as well as Anlatant here, right? Because Pro Scouts is going to be a big deal with the Dome of Faith build. Considering that you're on a team map, there's a lot more for you to play with. And that essentially handcuffs Sassy's ability to raid with those powerful French Knights.
Yeah. Age-ups are coming in, and we are seeing a Saharan trade. Oh, look at that Saharan trade network. I think they're going to try and trade. I legitimately think this could be trade.
You don't think
it's the position? You say secure one of the gold mines?
No.
And it's also in trade path.
No. I'm looking at a triangle of deer there. I think that just might be about all that food. Look at that.
You're just going to process anyways, probably.
Okay, M-Lord is playing later today, not right now, but... What?
That's a good spawn.
Yeah. I have a feeling like you just get around the back, you shove those deer in, no one's touching these because, of course, the javelins hurt way too much to dive. Damn. I mean, it could be for the trade, like you said, but even if it isn't, that's already bridging the gap and securing a lot of resources.
I know Boltune is a big fan of transitioning to trade if his economy gets hit in any kind of shape or form instead of going for another TC. Instead, he's just like, all right, time to trade now. And it makes sense with the Saharan trade network because you're getting an additional resource. You're getting food from your trade as well as Somalians. It's currently not as efficient as I think it's supposed to be. as the traders, like the tax that they collect, or the toll rather, only gets refreshed when they hit their main market, not a neutral market, so they're effectively getting half of what they used to before the trade rework. But it's still very good. Like, you're still getting additional 35% resource. That's more than Mongols get.
Yeah. I wonder, like, I heard rumors that got fixed, but I hadn't had a chance to test it. It's kind of
Okay.
funny,
Wow,
though.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. It was very recent when I was checking. Maybe my chat was baiting me. But the interesting thing is that even with that not there for the Malians, right, they've remained truly meta. You know, 1v1s in team games, they have a lot of relevance just because of these powerful times around the Fulani. So part of me was to say, don't give them it back. They're already good enough.
This repair isn't going to be enough for units watching it down. Yeah, it's not going to be able to out-repair. Unless he gets bongo repairs, but that's not going to come into time. Yeah, it's going down slowly but surely. Needs another villager. Another villager is moving out, actually. And his own scout is coming back in order to harass some of these scouts.
I mean,
okay, 2 villagers are going to be able to repair. It is. You're getting enough resource for it to be worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're able to fend it off. Nice. Okay, good defense there.
Meanwhile, other side in their base is like Anatan. He went for the Golden Gate, right? I don't think we saw a Kremlin play in this. Even when you're worried about knights, you don't care anymore, right? Because now this just allows you to outproduce them. We haven't got him doing those kind of crafty hunting cabin spam openings. We know a few Canadians later today will likely be doing that if they pick Roos. Just right now, there's a kind of split, right? Some players like to just stick one hunting cabin. The others like to build 2 very quickly on the opening to get basically a passive trickle of about 40 gold a minute.
Yeah, and if you do that, you got to do like one drop off with one of the straggler trees in order to have enough wood for a house, else you get housed.
Yeah.
I like the idea of going for like double hunting cabin when it presents itself. And there we go. Yeah, actually, SAS is moving out, so no pro scout action here. Sometimes players like to go pro scouts anyways, even if they get this really good deer generation, just because it's going to be safe on TC. You can put 8 villagers inside of that outpost landmark, but in the Saharan trade network. But you can put 15 inside of a TC, so it's a little bit of more safe space.
Yeah, I think the tricky part though here is like if you end up in a situation where you're going pro scout to pull back, you're gonna be behind Roos on the night production, right? Like this has always been the tricky part for Zone to play either French or Roos. If you find yourself behind just one knight in the early game, you lose all credibility on the map. Zone is no longer a threat.
Yeah, and we do have melee Jean here, so not range Jean. Actually, one of the knights already on the gold. SAS, is he gonna notice? At least it's not a French knight. That villager could already be dead, but is going to go down either way.
Tricky there. So nice little maneuvering. Meanwhile, on the mid-map, a lot of pressure coming in. And this is interesting, actually. B and Anatan, they're going for a full wall in, right? You've got Anno going the short walls. B can do the longer because the beautiful thing here is to spam and build them up. And you know, I was trying to think back, right? Like when they nerfed walls for villagers' build speed, I don't think they nerfed the build speed for infantry for Delhi, right?
Oh, great. It's another Delhi buff.
Another buff. Wow. Like, you look at that. It just keeps getting better and better.
I'm not sure if it's been nerfed before. I'm not sure if a double nerf there is again, necessary. Though, right? Yeah, but I at that point in time, I felt like, okay, infantry walls for the most part is fine. Like, you have a lot of units. It makes sense that the walls go up pretty quickly.
I mean, that's true. He is waving a chunk of wood at a line of trees being erected into a wall. So I guess he's just pretty much already got the supplies on hand. And he's even going to wall for his ally as well, so Anatan is going to be protected there, and that means that they're going to be able to start diving towards the enemy economy. Meanwhile, Knights, not very good at burning through these walls.
Yeah. These early walls are incredibly useful here, just to be able to deny some of the mobility of units. Anatan's Knight is getting picked up, we see in the picture-in-picture, so SAS can go out to gold again without any worry of being caught up there. He's also going for a wall there on the eastern side, so there's not going to be any more sneaky knights coming in there. John even supervising there does give that little bit of the bonus aura in order for the build speed to go up with those villagers.
Farms very early from Sassy as well. Surprised by this considering he's got all the deer, but I guess the tricky part here is the walkout. Yes, you have got a lot of deer to gather over there, but if you have to walk a new village every time, basically the first 20 seconds of life, they're doing nothing but lazing around.
Also, like when you have a little bit of wood left over and you don't have enough of resources to like get another production building, like you might have enough resource to get another production building up, but you don't have enough income in order to have that building produce all the time. It makes sense to just like take a couple of villagers, get onto farms. It's going to help you with your food transition immensely. Just a couple of farms. Like you just need 4 farms in order to pretty much like have your TC running 24/7. That's already big value.
Now, tell you what, it's not going to be big value in these fights. Those Deli Spears. This is not your old school Tower Victory build, which means actually Baltoon is the scariest player in these battles right now. That's why they're able to bring Zhone out into the center so freely.
He's already got 7 scholars. One might be getting picked off here. No, Sass doesn't commit to that one yet. And the scholar mass, it's when it gets really scary when you get to like 12, 13 scholars. As soon as Castle Age comes in, the upgrades will come in like a minute, 20 seconds. It's pretty much faster than for other civilizations at that point in time.
Yeah, it's like they take a minute and they have to actually pay for it, right? And you're sitting here, hey, it takes me a minute and 10 seconds. It's totally fair. It's like, well, and you've also just picked up 5 relics on the map. Come on, buddy. But looks like someone else is prepping for a Castle Age player here. Baltoon getting pretty deep into the cow already. I think the tricky thing about being Anatan's comp here is that it doesn't have any real threat on Dijon, right? It's not like one of you has a range unit here that could threaten to snipe her in these big engagements.
We're getting some archers in, but it's not a massive amount yet. To be fair, like if it's 2 archer ranges with scholars inside, it's like 4 archer ranges worth of production, could get them in pretty quickly. It's only 1 at the moment, so like 2 archer ranges worth of production, but I think he's mostly interested in like just massing units slowly and then going for a Castle Age transition. Like right now, he doesn't even have anything in queue.
He does have the push forward to allow him to get that second sacred site, though, so this can start to apply some pressure. That would also accelerate his timing here, because he's starting to stockpile a decent amount of food in reserve.
And the Baltoon still only on Dunzos. No javelin throwers coming in yet. Single Knight getting caught off. Great charge conga line there. Able to pick him off.
Funnily enough, though, Anatan's still the one with the military lead currently. That's the perks, the Golden Gate. And the fact that when you play Jean, you end up sacrificing a villager the moment you go into level 2.
Yeah, Consecration should even that out as the game goes on, as you will pay less and less for your knights. But it's not coming into effect immediately. Oh, this could be pretty quick. The burn-in on the pit mine. Now the spearman coming in there as well.
Yeah, they don't seem to want to fight. You can actually see that Sass is arcing away from this. A little bit delayed to start arriving. Maybe you can go for a cutoff, or maybe find some reinforcements.
The reinforcements, yeah. And Baltoon actually hasn't walled his side yet. Like, Sass is pretty nicely walled around his side, so it's pretty hard to engage onto his economy. Baltoon hasn't done that yet. And actually, we do have Baltoon putting some houses around Sass's gold mine. The interesting thing is that Malians, they can put their pit mine on depleted gold mines. So as soon as Sass is done with his gold mine, it's just going to be like, all right, I'll take over here.
I mean, you did highlight early, he has 2 kind of forward spawning gold veins, not good options. Luckily, his teammate has what he needs. Scholars are going to be found in the back here. Brought low, but doesn't get the final tap.
Any unit you don't kill will get healed up again eventually.
I mean, especially when they're holding hands running out like that. It's like, wow, we have a death pact. They're just going to pat each other back up to full. House of Learning on the way alongside this for B, and that makes it even more important these scholars survived, because that means he can look to hoover up the middle relics straight away.
That's big.
He can't believe this. He's like, wait,
he's going to commit.
He's like, is this for free? This is for free!
That's so many villagers!
Wow, he came with a 90% off coupon code right there. Grabs everyone on the tree line. Bar 1.
That's 10 villagers going down there on the tree line. And look at that, just a single knight that's getting split off there from the group goes towards the gold there. While the main army just runs the knights from Sass around. Did he even notice? I don't think he said another knight after that one.
No, he hasn't. And guess what? That can ruin
he's gonna kill Baltoon.
Yep. No new pit mine. Get out of here.
And the spearman at the same time. Oh, that's gonna be a pinch on 2.
Has to run away here. So getting no XP whatsoever, Jean. Meanwhile, they now find themselves an age behind B. Baltoon is about to trigger his own tech up. But the tricky part for him is he scaled mass Donzos, right? I don't think that's meant to be your endgame plan here. You're going to need to add in some extra Raider boys of your own.
13 archers at the moment from B. I mean, as soon as he gets the veterancy in on these archers, they're still going to be able to one-shot those. It's 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes. It's so quick. He doesn't even have all his 10 scholars inside of the monasteries.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes because he has, I think, 5 relics on the way home.
Yeah.
Oh, this sim is
He's getting paid.
Not reasonable.
Currently, it definitely isn't. And Pro Scouts behind that, by the way. It's a free upgrade. He'll take that. No worries about that.
Also, keep in mind he went House of Learning, right? Which means, oh, you have French Knights that get +3 damage after a charge. I'm going to have Knights that get +3 damage forever.
Yeah, I mean, not that he wants to make Knights. He can just provide a couple of elephants and suddenly, like, the Knights are going to have issues with the wraparound. Because it's splash damage as well.
But Krakeny, he has 40 Donzos. Surely that would counter 5 War Elephants.
Surely. If they can get to the War Elephant. Because the War Elephant's also going to get a speed boost with the upgrade from the House of Learning.
You know my favorite part as well? Not favorite, but like the cherry on top of the spite for it is when a War Elephant runs away, his guy on top is still stabbing you, you know?
Right? Yeah, it's like a manga die on top of it.
You know what it is? It's like the Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo relation, you know? Where like Scooby-Doo just wants to run away and Scrappy's like, let me at him. And Scrappy got some sharp claws in those situations. So, Sass trying to square up here, but needs to be very careful about his positioning. A lot of eco now in favor of being Anatant. The spears trying to get spooky. Versus what, like probably 50 seconds away maximum at this stage. And the elephant comes out. Fear him. Well, he is God.
Anaton being an age ahead of Sass now with the same night count. There hasn't really been any great fights so far, so JD probably hasn't really gained too much experience at this point in the game. Yeah, she's a little bit more than halfway up right now. I'm wondering, like, even if Sass levels her up, like, there aren't really any great things that she can provide. There we go. Boya's Fortitude coming in. Royal Institute now on its way, but that means that as soon as that age up comes in, it's still going to be like a 1.5 minute time that Sass will want to wait until he takes a fight.
Love that little assist from his teammate there. B just actually amping up the berries so that Antan can get more food long term there. The elephants are ready to roll out.
How many relics
they don't need an army.
Yeah.
They're their own army.
Is it 7 or 6 relics?
I think he has 6, right? Because there's
6. There's 1 left on the map.
Yeah.
We've got 3 here and 3 there. Yeah, 6 exactly.
Yeah, the other one he's not going to grab.
Has fewer relics.
Yeah, it has the correct number of relics. Basically, the final one is sitting behind the Saharan Trade Network, right next to the Royal Institute. So,
yeah,
a little tiny bit hard for the scholar to get there, but you know, maybe he should just achieve higher in life.
Yeah. I mean, Sass, he's hurting quite a bit right now, right? Like, losing 10 villagers, that means he's 20% of his economy behind compared to, like, Anatant. 20% is a lot when you think about it. Upgrades now coming in, but I think this is go time right now for being Anatant.
Ready to rock and roll. Knights already juiced up. Maximum they can get. Royal Bloodlines a minute and 10 seconds away. And also, Anno now in 2TC with the high trade house. Like, his eco is booming. He's loving life. The problem I see here is, like, you know, if this does keep dragging later, let's say Imperial comes into the picture, do you really like the Marlian and Jones chances more there?
We talked about in Castle Age, B with Delhi unlocks 5,000-ish resources worth for free in terms of upgrades. Go to Imperial Age, it's like 15,000.
Oh, okay. Well, only 3 times more then, you know.
It's a lot more, and he's already got 15 scholars, which right now aren't busy collecting relics. So with 15 scholars, he gets upgrades in. So do we even see any upgrades that he's still getting? The House of Learning is still researching something. How long does it take for it to research? Like, look at these upgrades that are coming in. 8 seconds here. Right? The next, yeah, minute and a half. He's getting upgrades quicker in now than other civilizations with these 16 scholars.
Oh my god. Walt's Edge, please. Military Academy is also coming, so the pump will be even quicker here.
Upgrades are in at least for Sass now, so his military isn't as bad as it used to be. The question is not as bad good enough?
Yeah, you know, like, life is bad. You're having to run 3 jobs just to afford rent. But it could be worse if you're living in a cardboard box. I feel like everyone on the receiving end against Delhi feels like they're living in that cardboard box right now. This is a hard army to beat. Once it's up to 6 War Elephants, and we're past that, by the way, that whole idea of pinching doesn't really exist. You're running headfirst into a giant bowling ball.
Altun's almost pop capped, at which point I'm not sure if he wants to go for attack up or maybe even just ling Sass.
I mean, Sass kind of has most of what he's going to get, right? He has the rawest to play, so
Fight's
probably
coming
won't play
in.
for yourself, but he's probably have to replace a lot of losses here. Clash coming through. Mango
Sean
smash
has
to
to
the
stay
back.
safe. He's getting a lot of experience here. There we go. Level 3 comes in.
However, the army count is really what's going to matter here. Jeune de Cleve doesn't even want to be anywhere near these War Elephants because you are now on horseback, which means you do take bonus damage. Divine Restoration Pump comes through, but mainly on the Donzos. And of course, those aren't going to last long in the first place. Feels like they're just not breaking through quick enough here. The Elephants aren't dying whatsoever. Sassy keeps most of the Knights alive, but the backbone of this push, Baltin's blob, has been removed.
Yeah, it's a big issue for Baltian to be the infantry player here because you need crossbows against these War Elephants. If you don't have crossbows, you don't have a ranged unit that's able to snipe them out. And Baltian, his stuff doesn't get crossbows. They get a melee version with that, with the Musafadi warrior, but good luck trying to get in melee range with those and survive.
Agreed. When you're up against War Elephants like this, if you do not have crossbows, it's the equivalent of building spears against Landsknecht. Right? Like,
Yeah.
what else was meant to happen but death? And you know, even when you have all these range units like the Javelins and Archers, I mean, they can't do anything, right? They tickle best case scenario. So you look at the situation, you say, well, Sassy's playing Jeune. Arbitrary and Imperial are great, but do you really want to be doing an arbitrary transition in the team game before the 4th age?
Baltian tries to go for the wraparound onto the Mangonels, but the Archers pick the Musafadi warriors off there. Poison Arrow Archers don't feel like it's quite enough here. All the Scholars forward from B right now as well, so great healing coming in on the Elephants, always pulling back the weak ones. And they're just going to get healed back to full at the same time. Fight from Sass against Anton. In theory, he has the stronger Knights, but just wasn't quite enough. And Jean has fallen with the army as well. This game right now, not looking like Oiling Bolt can really win it back right now. If B just pushes with this Elephant Mass, how are they meant to hold back?
Well, because they both have to defend this base, which means the Knights are going to break through and look to rush into the economy of Baltian. So you're either losing east or west. Choose which, right? Because you can't defend both at this stage. You're too far behind. The Quadro Mango play, just dealing with this as well. Splatters the French villages. That's now shown even further behind. Sassy, with a limited Knight count, they're heavily injured from their skirmish against the Rus. These War Elephants will easily be able to mop it up. Look at those health bars. These are not herbivores. They most definitely eat other animals.
The Knights just been evaporated and GG gets called. Game number 1 going in favor of the 3 DEDAs.
Yeah, but there's only 2 DEDAs in this one, and it didn't look close in the end. Great, strong beginning this series for being Anatan. Balti and Sassy going to have to find a way bouncing back quickly because that game, it didn't really feel like they ever got a chance to get things together. I mean, does it kind of feel like a draft to you? Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, Delhi just too good, Rus as a support arc, more than
2
ample.
things stand out to me. For one, like Sass losing 10 villagers, like a 20% of the economy gone, hurts insanely much in a Knight race. And then also Baltian not having, or rather the army composition from Baltian and Sass not consisting of crossbows against the War Elephants.
Yeah.
That's just so deadly. Like, you need crossbows. There is no way that you can't make crossbows. And I think it's also very difficult for Sass with John to be able to just transition into Arbaletria, because you make the archer ranges, they're not going to be consecrated. You're going to be paying full price for those Arbaletria. You don't have like the great economy that French does. You're going to be like trying to play a catch-up game there either way. And then with the less economy, that just piles up and it's going to lead to a situation where you just can't take the fights against the Elephants.
Yeah, you kind of wish you had French instead, right? But that was banned out because that would have worked a lot better, because then you can make that transition off the back of a keep drop. You also have the scaling economy, meaning if you lose these early villages, you don't really care as much. Jeune feels so much harder to execute in team games than French by comparison, right? Like in 1v1s, I can see the niche role. But in team games, we mentioned at the start, more often than not, you find yourself stuck at home without Jeune playing. Credit to Sassy for being able to get her out to the mid-map, but by the time he's able to, it just didn't matter anymore, right? Like level 3 melee Jeune, it really isn't a threat. And this is the fight where she got it. Once you're in Castle Age, once you're there, you have answers to the next tier.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of want to reach that level 3 in Feudal Age, but the age up just happened so quickly. Like 14 minutes in, B is already aged up. There just wasn't enough pressure coming out from Sass with those knights early on. And Yeah, Sacred Sites got captured, at least one, and that just opened up the path for that Castle Age transition. Here, this fight looking not too bad there at the beginning, but then gets just worse and worse and worse as the elephants just don't die, as there's no direct counter against them other than the spearmen, but the spearmen just couldn't connect to them, and the splash damage from the elephants as well just means that they're such a great unit to have in these big, large-scale fights to just cleave up the army. It's like a Landsknecht almost, as in it's like a melee mangonel almost of sorts.
It really is. I mean, I've watched too many clips now. I've cast way too many games of 100 spears running into, say, 10 elephants. You'd think the 100 spears would do something, right? They do. They die. They die very quickly. I mean, the splash just feels still a little bit too good. And I believe they did tweak it recently. It doesn't still seem to be at a point where it's reasonable. I think for a long time, war elephants felt kind of memey, right? Like tower elephants kind of had a niche role for a while. But war elephants were overlooked, and they went a bit ham in their approach of trying to buff them. Or actually, I don't know, like what elephant ham, whatever that is. I don't know what you call a piece of meat from an elephant. They went a bit too much of that, and now the outcome is probably one of the most absurd units we've ever seen in AoE for.
Yeah. Looking at our next game, this is also an interesting one. So, Oiling Boil, they had the option to ban Byzantines. Instead, they banned French. What they're remaining with is Achery and Delhi. Now, that's also still some very, very good civilizations. But Byzantines can be very scary. Now, I guess the thought was, okay, we want to take the Knight Civ out of the equation, because Byzantines, maybe they want to go for like a Gulp-style build. That's also an option. And then, like, Mongols also as Kashik, so it's like double Cav Civ. But Byzantines can just as well play the infantry style as well. So you get Mongols with the Kashyyyks as the cavalry civ, and then you get Byzantines with the infantry portion with like just Limitne and longbows. Also works really great here. I'm wondering if Team 3 DEDA is going to play like the infantry Byzantine approach or just the all-in Gulp build. Whichever one it is, I just think that Byzantines are really, really strong either way. But Delhi's now on the side of Oiling Bowl, so we're going to have to wait and see how exactly it's going to play out. Are they going to be able to capture some sacred sites? Achery in the beginning of the game, very good at just pumping out a ton of units.
I think map like Cliffside lay out this, Cliffside is historically a map that puts you much closer together than, say, a Dry Arabia, but on team games, yes, that's true, but you're still very far away. So I would be curious to see if the Lombos can work for like a rush timing, right? Maybe there's some sort of outpost rush play, probably not because of how big the map is. The other awkward issue we've been seeing recently is like if you try to play Dark Age, H3 players have also been shifting towards a Dark Age meta, right? Where they can counter aggro you. So that obviously favors them with their better economy. They're able to buff so much of their eco so early on. So I imagine we're going to be looking to lean to that feudal. Double Keshik sounds a bit wild, but it would block the Delhi wide. My only concern is that central area, right? Like if Achery and Delhi then went infantry comp down the center instead, they'll still get a sacred site and they'll get a staging point. So yeah, there is a cool fort here with Byzantines where if you lean into Lombos and aim for Castle Age, you will have the Kurotai there, right? And that is a phenomenal buffer that Achery or Delhi can't really match up to at the beginning of Castle.
Kurotai and Triumph Cataphracts? That sounds like a pretty good composition.
I didn't say that. Okay, so every time I've theory crafted a cavalry build, here's how it goes, Crackety. All right, Kurotai, that guy's got French knights. This is going to be great. What he's going to do is going to deploy the Kurotai. Those knights are going to get like candle saddles as well. Their damage is going to be buffed through the roof. Everything's going to die. And the fight begins. Where's the Kurotai? And then we have to ask Vodka to pan left for 10 seconds. It never gets there in time.
And then we look at the Uwu and the movement speed upgrade hasn't been reviewed yet.
No, every game. It breaks my heart when I see a guy with 30 Keshiks building Kurotai, knowing that he will never, ever, ever use it in a fight until he loses all the Keshiks and has to replace them. But let's find out how they want to execute this build. 3 DEDA with an early lead in this best of 5, but they need 2 more if they want to win. We're going to map number 2, and it's going to be on Cliffside.
All right, let's jump right into that one. We do have early wood gathering here. Oh, that's a great spawn from Anton. Next to the wood line, next to the gold as well. Are we going to see a barracks opening here from the Mongols? I wonder. We'll see in just a little bit.
Look at the berry spawn as well. It's actually quite nice, right? Like, yeah, it's on the forward.
Oh, yeah, it's Hippodrome. It's Hippodrome.
So, are we going to be getting double cav. Is there any chance of that? Because like you want to lean into Keshik's. It makes sense as well when you consider that there's 3 sacred sites, but they're spread very wide, right? And if you play cav, your opponents can't wall off. But I guess if you played infantry, sometimes you'll see Delhi players just walk out on the flanks and start making small walls in these checkpoints. Kind of removes all the options, right? So kind of feels like being Anatan want to play with a lot of pace in this game too.
Definitely feels like it. But on the other side, we see Boltian actually opening up with that Dark Age barracks. Now, we do also see that Falcon over there above his base. So it means that Anatan did drop that Falcon, has vision over this, and knows what's coming towards him. And I do think we see a barracks coming in from Anatan now behind us. There we go. It was initially a pasture, has been cancelled that, and now we will see some double-produced men-at-arms coming out. Palace Guards, men-at-arms, we go through everything that the barrack has to offer. Some spearmen coming out.
We'll get there eventually. He just needs to get to age 4. It's not that far away, and build a Khan at Palace. Yeah, so this play's been growing in popularity, actually, with HRE. I've noticed it, especially in the 1v1 tournaments, just flood, right? You just flood at the beginning of the game, especially on a map like Cliffside where you're close together. Of course, Mongols can mirror that out. You then got to ask the question, like, who benefits more? I mean, the reality is Baltoon can choose to fight when he wants and how he wants. What I loved is Anatan's opening. Like you mentioned, he was going for a pasture. The reason he was able to do that is because he ran across and hulled his Falcon at the enemy buildings to see what's happening. Don't worry, it wasn't hurt in the process. But that kind of discipline is really important. If people are looking to level up their Mongol builds, don't be this guy that thinks he can outpost rush every game, right? Check what your opponent has and then be ready to pivot into greed instead if you see no angle of approach.
Yeah. Spearman right now, I really like this play from Baltium because it already devalues the play from B with the Imperial Hippodrome coming in now, because he's just going to be massing horsemen. Horsemen don't like spears that much.
It gets worse than that though, right? You're against Delhi, and Delhi are going to be massing Ghazi, right? So if they're massing Ghazi and you're massing horsemen, you might think, oh, but I've got Triumph. Triumph is great. Yeah, Triumph is great once. That's it. Like, I've talked about this extensively before, that to me, Triumph on paper sounds OP, but that's because you just keep it on the paper, right? You don't use it, you know? It's like the idea of me having a nuke is really powerful, right, Crackety? But once I launch it into the middle Atlantic, well, the threat is removed. Now you're like, well, fine, we can just take you on. That's the thing I see with Triumph, is like, its threat is better than its usage early. It only becomes a spammable tool in the late game.
Yeah. It's still great to have overall, because suddenly, like, your horsemen deal as much damage as Sipahi, pretty much.
But they just
the horsemen are kind of quick, right?
Aren't you the guy who usually moans about how slow horsemen are attacking?
Horsemen, I did, but then guess what? Dali horses has been introduced, and I've been a reformed man ever since.
So, got it. So what you're saying is we just need when you build into the appropriate landmark for the Byzantines, just inherently get Dali horses for no reason. That's what we're looking for, right?
I mean, they don't need it, right? Like they get the additional damage tag against villagers as well, so they're pretty fine. Like you pop Triumph, and you only need like 2 hits from 2 horsemen to kill a villagers.
Crackly knows his numbers, folks. I remember when I gave him the challenge to do Pro Scouts Hippodrome Triumph.
It worked, man. Until people figured out how to play against it, but until then, it worked.
I'm pretty sure in the game that you sent me to cast, it worked up until he decided to actually just attack you.
It was a great moment until then.
It was. Pressure's going to come in. Most of the berries at least being gathered, but Baltoon now able to kind of idle that out. So if there's going to be a double cav build, going to be a little bit weaker now. Considering that Anatan's on the team, and B likes to be innovative too, have we checked that neutral trade post just to the right of the Byzantines yet?
There's nothing there. Nothing yet, at least.
No, but I mean, like, options, you know?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah,
no.
we're not going window shopping.
Yeah.
No. Wait, honey, we ain't paying those prices. We're going back to, like, the Primark, and we're spending $5 maximum on your uniform this year, okay? No, Camel Archers and Musafadi is not going to entice.
I've yet to see Byzantine spam out Juganu, so I don't think Musafadi will be on the menu either.
Maybe. One of these days, we'll get a Musafadi Byzantine game, maybe. Probably Faye. Yeah, I was looking for high-value things like Sipahi comes to mind. Knights are also just golden. Maybe even Magadai in team settings, right?
Wait,
like,
market?
Huh?
That's an early market.
Wait, where did he set that up?
In his base.
Yeah.
It's the boil. It's not the boil. It's oil build.
Oh,
It's a sell. Yeah, it's a sell oil into fast castle build.
This is cool. Crackety, last time I saw this in competitive play, it failed really badly. So we're going to see if history repeats itself, because ironically in that game, it was also against Delhi. I'm a positive guy today.
It's pretty good. I've done it before. And if your opponents don't see it coming, especially in a 2v2 situation, it should be very good here. Right now, 10 versus 9 Spearmen, a lot of them low.
Yeah,
could pull them back, heal them back up. We're actually seeing some men-at-arms come in as well. That's surprising.
You've seen one player has Hippodrome, and you're choosing men-at-arms. This is not just surprising, this is bold right now. Surely they have to be a little bit suspicious about what's happening here, right? Like, they haven't
They're not
seen...
scouting. Wait,
yeah.
There is a scout there from SAS, but I'm not sure if he went all the way around to see the market there. It's Sister of the Hill.
But, like, you would have seen a unit from B by now, you know what I mean? Like that should be the alarm bell for you. This has to be obviously fast castle. Not a single horseman has shown up on either of your bases yet.
I don't think that they even have the capacity to assume right now that the selling oil build is still a thing. I don't think either of them is thinking about that right now.
I mean...
All right, there was a build with which you can get Castle Age like 1.5 minutes quicker than usual.
And it was an NA build, to be fair. It began as an NA build.
What? No way. I made a video about the day Byzantines came out.
Oh, oh, honey. Well, this is awkward. I don't
You're not subscribed. Oh my god.
I think I watched Soldier do it in a competitive series. I was like, oh, no bueno. Shout out to the lad. We don't get to see much of him nowadays. NA more or less just being carried by the Canadians. Maybe there could be some American hope in there in the future. For the time being, though, the European showdown is looking pretty good for the Eastern Europeans. I mean, right now, these cataphracts don't feel amply blocked. There's not really any walls. There's not really that many spears to the point that you can attack and defend.
Getting some walls up as well. Oh, come on. Get the relic in there as well, Baltune. It wants to be walled in.
He's only HRE. What could he ever want with that?
True. Oh, he didn't even see it. Okay, then it's fine. Now I can understand it.
I think
Double sacred sites have been captured at least.
This is also kind of interesting when you think of it from that perspective as well. Like, Delhi usually like to hoggle the relics. These are the type of comps I'm never the biggest fan of because, I mean, well, I'm going to be stuck playing with a random player, so doubly bad, right? Who gets these relics, right? It has to be HRE, surely.
Yeah.
But elephants.
I mean, Sans is going to gather them up, and he's just going to give them to Baltian.
You watch. 10 minutes from now, when he's got 3 of them in his mosque.
I mean, it would be more efficient for Baltian to have the relics garrisons and send over the gold to SAS.
That is true.
Than for SAS to have the relics.
But APM limitations, Crackety, okay?
Surely there were some nice deer pushing late into the game for Anaton. That's so much food. You're suddenly like getting an influx of like 2,500 food just from pushing the deer, and that's great.
Especially important when you would want to try to weave your way into a castle age eventually here, right? Like, he doesn't want to play this age too long. You can tell by the fact he doesn't really have many options to be on the map. He's more or less just pinned, right? The Ghazi looming, the mass spears. He understands that HRE should be able to outmass him here. So he's just kind of waiting for his opening, and cataphracts are looking for the...
They're here. The gulp is coming in.
This. I feel like we need to get some sort of drink sponsor.
They don't even need to pull back. They can just tank while the gulp is going on.
Yeah, but it's more demoralizing when they're just standing there watching you, right? They're like, we need to fight. You know what this is? You've been watching some Age of Mythology. This is like when you're about to win the fight, and then there's a ceasefire, and then they heal.
I love how you can also use the charge ability to run away from units at 2 movement speed.
Oh no, what's that? Oh, I'm late for a meeting. Let me just get out of here. True beam me up Scotty energy coming from these lads. It's pretty infuriating. I mean, I've talked about this before, that like the element that's most OP of them is the mobility factor, right?
Oh, he can get the charging again. He can get the charging again, maybe. Is he going to use it?
No.
Oh, he's not thinking about. Oh man, that would have been great. Imagine him just charging away with 1 hit remaining.
So here's the difference, Crackety. B right now is trying to play an RTS, and you're playing a role-playing story D&D session with 1 character.
Yes.
It would be nice if Timothy, third of his name, of the Cataphract 2nd Division Army, could have made it back home to his wonderful wife, Emilia, and his one child, Ricardo, but
he's got a pension waiting for him.
Had a pension waiting. That is now going to go to his neighbor, who Emilia has been sleeping with for the last 15 months.
Man, and that's how the story unfolds.
Yeah, then there's just like, you know, this soap music playing as we close on a cliffhanger.
Better story writing than Season 8 Game of Thrones.
I try. Archers in the center now are going to be able to go for that decap. So a little bit of gold being removed. Sassy, though, is on his way towards Castle Age here. The Cataphracts have yet to find the big, oh my god, this build needs to be nerfed moment.
It's coming. There's no two ways around it.
Just like the remake of Game of Thrones, where they actually make it better.
That's not coming.
I hope, unlike that, which will take 9 years, it doesn't take us quite that long in a team game.
House of Learning coming in from Sass now. Oh, he's going to need so much gold for elephants, but they're not going to give him the time, I feel like. Alton's also trying to age up.
Yeah, so now we have the conundrum, Crackety. I told you to come to this. Who gets the relics? Who has the right?
I'm not sure it's about who gets the relics. I think it's about who lives this.
I mean, I think if he lives through this, Sassy has the right, and Baltoon has to have the right. Here's the HRE. He's got to be strong with it as well, but right now the count does not look good for them. They're just going to get picked apart by the archers. Cataphracts do charge through. Oh, okay, fine. I'm just going to... Bye, have a good time. That's just free damage done. Nothing given in return. Archer's now moving in. The spears are still chasing. He's trying to club down the men at arms that are separate. Nice micro here. B just pulling away the injured. Gulps are coming in. Looks like one of the Cataphracts could get pinched, but takes forever to die. Archers are being jumped on, but the Ghazi count is just so low.
It's not existent at this point. One knight comes in. The elephant. I don't think it's going to be enough. There needs to be like at least 3 elephants, I feel like, in order to like really have a chance against this. Anton sending some wood over to B. I wonder what for. I guess B didn't even have a single villager. B doesn't have a lumber camp even.
Wait, really?
You don't need a lumber camp when you just have a market. You just buy a little bit of wood. It's so all in. He doesn't even have villagers on wood to make houses. He just buys it.
Somewhere in the world, Crackety, one of the biggest B fans imaginable, is copy and pasting this build and not realizing it doesn't work in 1v1s.
Cat is noting that down right now.
Cat's doing 1v1s on the side. He's like, I'm going to do the builds they do in a different setting. Pressure now coming in, though. Bouncing. Farms are outed up. And a few archers are getting picked off, but Anatan doesn't care. He's not really looking to rush up. We can see he's blobbing even more behind this.
That's now has 13 villagers on gold. He really wants to get more elephants out, but still, it's only 1 for the time being. Cataphracts go for quite a good surround there on the knights. He definitely can't take that fight with knights against Cataphracts if you're number-wise behind as well.
Oh no, the elephant. Oh wait, what if we just kind of...
The elephant in the room.
What if we just... Yeah, what if we just avoided the room the elephant was in? This guy doesn't have mahouts yet. Now, old Cataphracts, they would have had to have fought him because those guys are like old men with walking sticks.
Yeah. Behind this, though, Sassy does have a good amount of scholars in still. Villagers on the gold have to evacuate. Villagers in the wood do the same.
Oh, no. B knows. He's checking both ways. If he circles round now, he's going to find the biggest group at the back here. Really hard pill to swallow. Cat is coming in.
I don't think he can kill too many. And a charge. Attempt of a dodge.
Wait. But the cat is coming back. No, Sassy. That's going to be double the trample. Whoa, bamboozles him. But those lances, like, who cares? He could club them down right now.
Could have been worse.
Tribe got activated.
Still not good.
Wait.
Oh, they're healing even more now.
I mean, you say the healing more. The heal's pretty slow. This 360 HP health.
You think so, but it's for 40 seconds and 3 health per second. That's still 120 health each that they're going to regenerate.
That does sound delicious. And, you know, I think he just reached point like, oh, we're probably going to be killing a lot at this point in the game, so guess I'll just start using it. Because, of course, every kill will get you an extra second to recharge straight away, so you can pump it again.
Yeah. Sass now moving his villagers all the way over to gold mine behind Baltion's base. And Baltion, he had to completely reinvest into military. He was at like 800 food in the bank, now down to 50.
Wait, was it 3 health per second or was it 2?
Yes.
I think it's 2 on Triumph, right?
We can check
that's in
the
the map
Hero
there.
Hippodrome.
I mean, because like 120 health sounds OP.
Can we check the Hippodrome? There's stuff going on over here as well.
Nah, no one cares about that. I'm pretty sure it's 2 HP a second. Because I'm
We can
obsessed
hover
with-
over the Triumph ability.
Yeah, Vodka. We just want you to do more things. There you go.
Two.
Yes, dude.
All right.
There we
Maximum of 45 stack, so you can go up to 90 health regenerated.
But someone in chat can watch the little bars and calculate it when it gets triggered, because as we know, after 3 years of some tooltips that were telling us different things, we don't trust them anymore. You still remember Abbey of Kings, right?
Yes.
Where I think I said it was 4.5 and it was actually like 6. And then at one stage it was 8.
And they just changed it to 6.
Lance is going to get pinched here. Tech up was complete, so Anatan now ready to part on the Castellator, and he has got 58 archers to party with. But not just that, it's the best time of the year for a cavalry build, Crackety. It's not Christmas, it's a Kurotai.
Fragments now coming in. And it's getting cancer, and we're getting a Burgrave instead.
What?
Okay. Baltu knows this fight is coming in soon, and he needs his upgrades in less than a minute. The issue is, right now he's got 40 spearmen. I don't think you want to have 40 spearmen against 60 archers. He's
you
going to
wanna
have
have
to go like
70
mass men-at-arms.
Oh, you want to switch. I thought we were just going to keep building more spears until the archers run out of
It's a good plan to go for the Burgrave here, because you're legitimately going to need to get like 3 unique upgrades with like veterancy on the men-at-arms, then double hand and heavy maces and whatnot.
He brought gifts.
It takes time. Oh no.
Dude, look at Sassy's like, I brought you relics. What do you mean you're not a Regnit's built this game?
I could have used those the entire time. I wasn't
Now
needing
they have
full.
them. Oh my god.
Oh, there's the coral tie. The relics are blocking the coral tie. What a calendar.
What a meta. Wait. But look at the damage now for the archers and the elephants.
Oh god, they're
It
actually
registers.
hitting them.
Also, other fun thing here, those spearmen, the bonus damage does get buffed from the Kurotai. Archer's going to step back for the time being. They're also getting their buff damage.
It affects the cataphracts as well.
Which are high base already. Look at this party. If you
+5.
activate Triumph as well, those elephants are going to disappear so quickly. I'm going to
There it
have
is.
to print them on the
Triumph
side
comes
of a carton can here. Carton can, milk. Anyway, go. Charge through.
Yeah.
Get in there, boys. Oh my god.
They're kind of
This-
dying.
You know, this... No. They're doing fine. Look at the health bar of the elephants now. One by one, they flop. But we have got a relic coming. Well
Early.
done.
Yeah, no way.
They want to try. GG gets called. A second point on the board for B and Anatan. No slowing these two down. We're still going with elephants or OP on that one, right?
Early. I like that use of the Gult build. Well, not the Gult build, but like the fast castle oiling selling build. That actually came in such a good timing here in team games. I enjoy that one a lot. That was nice. Great
You know what we
use of
call
it.
that build? We call that one the stock trader banker build, right? Because he's trading, and then when he runs out of resources, his teammate, who's the government, bails him out with wood so he doesn't run out of things.
That was crazy, man. B not having a lumber mill 15 minutes into the game. I'm not even sure if he made one towards the end.
I don't think he did, because I'm pretty sure when we were like watching the fight around the center, there was another sling of wood from that.
Can you imagine B being like, yo, can you give me like a little bit of wood? I've never made a lumber camp this game.
It's like, oh, for God's sake, this is the last time. Use this to build a lumber camp. Okay, I'll use this to build a lumber camp. And then
Yeah,
B's just, like,
there's the wood
mapping.
gathered. It's literally just like, it's going up in spikes. So, you know, it's just like, okay, 100 wood bought, 100 wood bought, 200 wood sent over. Oh, God. That's great.
And it's like, can you just buy it from the
And
market?
he
It's like,
still makes resources gathered just from the oil that he just kept selling time and time again. This isn't even the eco build from Byzantines. This is just the sell build.
well,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I mean, this is one of the Byzantine builds, isn't it? That he's known for. I think Is it like, dude, surely we're at a stage now, right, where the devs, because they technically nerfed System, I didn't really feel like it. They're gonna have to next patch actually nerf something for realsy on this Civ family, right?
Something needs to change.
Like,
I think it needs to be oil related.
you know what they're probably gonna nerf? It'll be something like, we've nerfed Kyro siphons. The Civ is now
Wow, that's
balanced.
great.
Like,
You've
great.
done it. You figured it out.
I was
That's
building
the
so
one
many
thing that was missing.
Kyro siphons for my cataphracts, right? Look at these
They're
guys.
insane. Dude, I remember when well, it's not really an I remember brag because it's literally been like a couple of months. When Kairos were still buggy against like civilizations like Abbasid and Ayyubids, where you did like 1 damage against buildings with Kairos because of the fire armor.
Yep. I remember casting one of your scrims when that happened against, I think it's Avali.
Yeah.
It's the saddest attempt at a siege I've ever seen in my life. Oh.
Also reminds me of when I played a 3-hour game Byzantines against HRE against Kaiser Johann, and my Kairos just couldn't take down his buildings because of the HRE fire armor with relics.
Hey, you know what? If you had a Kurotai next to you, you would have done 1.2 damage per second.
It would have been so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is so baiting for a second, right? This is the thing about Cataphracts, it's beautiful or absurd. The fact that he was able to get around the back, like we talked about how elephants always win because you can't surround them. That's what makes Cataphracts so absurd. Positional play is everything. Think about how hard it is usually in a game to rotate round the back with horsemen. Cataphracts are like, sorry, I've got a VIP pass. I gotta go. Get out of my way, right? And they just plow their way through. Position is everything, man. It's why I've always said they're a great support unit, because if your opponent has mangoes, like everyone's crying about mangoes right now. Do you want the solution? Pick Byzantines and build Cataphracts. You'll never have to worry about mangoes again.
Exactly. Just gotta get onto them. If enemy makes mangonels, just make more units. That's the best counter at the moment.
Everyone just needs Cataphracts. That's the next step of AoE 4. Trample unlocks in the Imperial Age for everyone.
That's good. That's a good way to do it. So I actually don't. That would actually be cool.
I mean, it would, right? Like, I've talked about this having more abilities that unlock in the later phase that like are more pivotal from maybe a micro perspective, because like we are a very macro heavy game, right? I feel like we start micro, we become very macro heavy, and then we kind of stay macro heavy. It's cool to have these kind of micro adjustments. Like I remember a long time ago, I was fascinated by the idea of taking one out of Rise of Nations book, because the Rise of Nations has the general that can buff like a whole army, doing something like that, almost like a Khan-esque hero unit for everyone. But not like zone levels of hero, just someone that can easily be sniped. But we have got a third map, and I'm of two minds here. I'd like to see a 5-game series, but I also love that every time Scandinavia gets drafted and not picked, same with Water Drake, Cow dies alongside.
Yes. On the other hand side, Dry Arabia with Ottomans and HRE against Japan and English. I kind of favor Team Oiling Boil here a little bit. I think Japan in team games, top notch. Mainly because like Mounted Samurai equals good.
I mean,
it's a good unit. Yeah, and you got a teammate, so your enemy can't all in you in feudal age and kill you before you get a couple of them out.
And your teammate only has to do one thing to allow you to win the entire game. Do you know what that is, Crackety?
Make units.
Build a king and send him with the samurai.
Oh, yeah. That also works really, really well. Just distract the opponent as well.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, you're just the welcome rug, right? Your job is to harass them, delay them for a few minutes, and then he comes ahead. Nice thing here as well is, like, the counter, actually, to Japan in 1v1s is Ottomans, right? It's one of the hardest counters in the game. Like, you can't play feudal due to the meta. Later on, Gunner boys are going to mow down your cavalry, so, Mounted Samurai feel a bit weird. However, you don't really want to be building Janissaries in the mid-late game against English. That just invites Lombos, and that invites death.
Yeah, Longbows are pretty good against Janissaries. It's like, usually Ottomans, they can get to this army composition where you're just like, okay, what do I do? English have the answer with the Longbows. You just get so much range on these bad boys. You can snipe out the Janissaries from a long, long distance away. You don't have to really worry about the implications of the Sipahi coming onto your Longbows when they're still like 10 tiles away by the time all the Janissaries are dead.
Mm-hmm. The tricky part here, though, in theory, you should spawn far enough away to get your castle, right? It depends, though. If there's like a Ford Gold, I think there might be problems here for Oiling Boil, because we're probably going to see Sipahi plus H3 archers, right? Which is pretty bloody strong because that completely wipes whatever English try to do to defend. And then it's all on Japan to carry the game. And Sipahi, in fairness, do have pretty good base damage, even when they're up against Mountain Samurai.
They do, but at the same time, I don't think it's enough. It's usually like always a numbers game that's coming in there. But especially like with the English on your side, like having so many like defensive capabilities there, I don't think it's going to be a big issue. I think usually Ottomans, they just want to also like go for their own fast castle age here because they're pretty good with fast castle. Once they get like these military schools out, they get fast castle out, they have like their own kind of way of scaling more and more of these castle age military units for free instead of having to build a second town center. They can also remain in their base for a very long time with the Vizier Point, get an additional 10 sheep there. I think that's probably like the main play that you want to do, but I think it would be a cool reactionary play to the picks of the opponent going for like an all-in aggression onto the Japanese player.
Yeah, or bare minimum, if you're going to do that fast castle, if H3 are going to play the age, because someone has to a certain degree, right? At least go for the Imam point so that you can pull relics back for a prep delay castle timing, right? Don't be that guy who arrives in his teammate H3's base with 2 relics only to discover he built Burgrave. Don't do that to him, man. That's how you break team dynamics, and they never want to work with you again. But you know what? It's time to see what's going to work in game number 3. Driest of Arabias, but if they lose this game, it's 3 in a row. And that means that one thing that will not be dry is Oiling Boil's whiskey tumbler. It will be full to the brim tonight because they'll need something heavy to put them to sleep and out of their sorrow. Game 3. Let's get to it.
Possible match point for the 3 DEDAs. Is it going to be a 3-game set, or are we potentially going to go all the way to 5 games in this one? Gonna have to wait and see. At least this time, I think the draft is pretty good for Team Oiling Boil, and looks like Annotant isn't going to go for any Dark Age aggression build here with the HRE. No barracks coming out yet, and he has sent villagers over to gold. Military School coming in, but Military School isn't the quickest when it comes to putting a pressure on your opponent. The Spearman comes out like at 2 minutes 50-ish, so by the point he arrives, like you're already aging up and shouldn't be a big deal.
You at that point might as well just shove Deer into your H3 player's base so he can get a better timing in Feudal, right? But that spawn we just looked at for Baltin, I mean, it looks good, but here's the thing. When spawns look that good, I always remind people, when you're a Malian player and you have 2 forward spawning gold pits that are really close together, your first thought is, good, this is very efficient for building pit mines. Your second thought is, oh no, they're going to attack me. That's the attack point. Like, Baltun's only gold as Japanese is forward spawning. If B and Anatan do go for an all-in feudal, it's going to be very difficult for Japan to have any impact once they reach that castle age.
Typically, though, I think nowadays what you do as
Yo, are we robos? All right, guys, we got rid of AI Crackety. Proof that he's still got at least 1 more year as a caster before he gets replaced. I believe we are ready to see what the play is going to be. It's the Minework Palace. I love this. Anatan, a bigger fan of this build than almost any other player you'll find at the moment. In fact, the 3D Clan team were running this frequently in a recent 3v3 tournament. The idea is you usually can go Horsemen, so you have a technical timing on closing the map. We thought it was actually going to be B, the one going for Sipahi, but this with all pikes, you're as good as Sipahi. Meanwhile, what's this choice going to be here? Because there was a point where Ottomans were kind of diversifying between the trade option and the berries, but I think most have just shifted all the way back to berry play. In this game, though, we are going to be going old school. So Tiny Trade Network coming in, and in fairness, if he does try to actively trade, there's a decent amount of margin to be made here, considering the trade post is behind Anatan's base.
Yeah, now this looks 100% just like a normal fast castle build here from the Ottomans. Sultanati Trade Network, you just get so much gold passively. Very, very good. And you can always trade. Something that I really enjoy doing with the Sultanati Trade Network is at any one point in time, if you like want to build another military school, just buy 100 stone. Don't need to send villagers out to stone at all. Don't need to like rally villagers to another resource. Sure, you spend a little bit more gold on it, but you're gonna get all the gold passively from the Sultanite trade network anyway, so you're completely fine with that, and suddenly you're just able to immediately make a military school instead of having to proactively send villagers out to stone.
So what I'm hearing is we might get another game where B doesn't build a lumber camp.
You still need wood. I don't think you can buy both stone
You can
and
buy that
wood.
as well, Craig. Oh my god, can you imagine if he actually finds a way to justify it? Probably not, but I live in a world of dreams and memes. 2 spears already out, so we talked about how the light timing was going to make it undesirable to pressure. You're just better off using this to shove more food into your base. That's especially important now, considering you do not have the Madrasa, so you don't have extra food just easily sitting underneath the TC.
Archer range coming in immediately for Annotant, having those really early blacksmith upgrades on your archers. And look at the first upgrade, that's cute. Immediately, we're getting siege engineering here. This is going to be an insanely aggressive timing that Annontant's going to go for. So it looks like it's not... I'm guessing that B probably wants to support Annotant with that push here. I don't think that's going to be just Annotant pushing in. And we do indeed immediately see a matter in queue here, and the stable now goes up. Matter coming through the military school here.
Yeah, so I know, like, I thought this might be about the ore pikes and he'd take that role. That is still an option down the line if you need to flood more horsemen. But of course, this is just all about that optimized timing, right? You save 150 wood on the blacksmiths, you then save half what you pay for the siege engineering. That's actually a lot. By that point, you've basically got an additional ram at that point in the game compared to an Arkham build. So not a bad choice here, given that ramp timing. The question mark is whether they're going to be quick enough. Baltin does already have half of the gold he needs. The problem is it's not enough to have 600 gold here, right? Those Mount of the Samurai are absurdly expensive.
Yeah. Looking at the units so far, it looks like Sass at least is making longbows, so no Abbey of the Kings here. And with longbows, should be definitely able to support Baltian here when it comes to getting that fast age up in. Did Baltian make a second outpost on his gold, I wonder, at the moment? He does spot these, yeah, there we go. Second outpost is coming up, so definitely the right call here defensively. You do want to have that second outpost. If a ram comes in, you can still have another outpost shooting. Gives you just so much more momentum there as well.
Sometimes
no
in situations like this, though, I do kind of wonder if it would have been nicer to have gone for the daimyo play, right? Get the stables, get out a new abandonment, because, you know, you've got to be expecting archers from Anno. B is going to be delayed on his arrival. That could have delayed their ram timing by 30, 40 seconds, which would have been huge here.
It is a significant delay on the age up timing, though, whenever you do go for that.
Yeah. The question now is whether Baltin can be protected enough by Sassy, right? Like, I'm seeing a guy with 8 lombos who really doesn't want to come out of his base.
Yeah, especially with Sipahi out on the map now, already 3 on the field, 2 more in queue. Once the matter comes out, having 4 pierce armor on these Sipahi also means that he's taking as little damage as a knight would. That's just truly insane, the implication of that. Having a unit with not too much less health, that costs a lot less, being able to tank the same amount of arrow fire, can be kind of wild. Double ram as well.
Need to seal the deal, guarantee these go down. I mean, this is the thing as well, because Baltian went for the double outpost. He can't afford the fortifications, right? Like, 1 outpost, you would have been able to just bolster it up. But now this means you come in with a double wham, and all of a sudden, the outpost is on fire. It's not going to be saved. So tech up on the way. Lone Gate, as expected here for Baltian. He needs to grab as much gold as is possible, because he's about to be pushed off for a long time.
Yeah, Sass needs his longbows forward, needs to have them there so the villagers can at least try and torch down the rams.
Yeah, but look, he's trying to intercept. Unfortunately, be a little bit too late to the party there. We'll cut the reinforcements at least. Now there's going to be dive in. H3 archers, of course, quick enough. They can start to reach those villages in time. One goes down. There's going to be clown carring inside. Something that has been nerfed. He won't be able to insta-fire, but he can guarantee if there's a commitment, there will be a punishment.
Oh, such a great example there of the clown counter. If you could see the archers moving out, trying to get a shot off, not being able to. Villager does get out. Gold will now be denied. But Sass, I mean, Baltian, he has got enough. Reasonable.
Got enough for a knight.
A knight, yeah, a knight. But if he gets just 1 relic in, somehow,
If just gold falls out of the sky, he could also somehow survive this. Sabahi now can raise a
Sabahi
dive.
diving. Oh, this
The
is
raised
bad.
armor on, this is
bad.
going to be huge.
4 pierce armor. There we go. Focuses
He's like,
on the
get
matter.
the villagers out! Get the villagers out! Let me in! Let me in! I can't hear you, buddy. I'm locking the door and I'm throwing away the key. Lombos go down. He hasn't finished the floating gate, and it is a classic nightmare for the Japanese.
Yeah, so many units here immediately. Economy getting completely idled out right now for Baltune. He's having to research +1 pierce damage right now. It's just elimination.
That is it. They don't even try. Oh my god. We've seen this curse for Japanese in 1v1s, and it looks even more painful in a 2v2 setting. A 3-0 win coming in for our first series of the day. There really was nothing to stop DEDA.
I wonder if Baltune needed to adapt to like a more feudal age approach here, at least initially at the beginning, after he saw that forward gold. Instead going for the double outpost, but without any fortification upgrades on them. They just die so quickly to the Rams, and be an annotant in a clean fashion. Take the set 3-0.
Yeah, I don't know. I worried them when I saw the double outpost. I mean, I know what is just abandonment is very risky, but you can at least get some delay play. It's just very gluttonous. I think the other problem this type of build for Japanese is it's all they ever do, right? Like, this reminds me a lot of old school HRE Crackety, you know, where like it would never work because people would camp all the relics. If you have no element of flexibility in your build, if you become too predictable, and don't get me wrong, every Civ has a meta build that seems like to happen, but if all you're ever looking to do is go castle, which is all Japanese are ever looking to do, it makes it very easy to get these timers to block. Like, now, execution matters, right? But HRE, they're great at enabling this. And I love the way that became the supporting arc of Sabahi. You essentially had a strong timing on your ram push because HRE is so good at that with the mine work. And then, of course, the Ottoman detail is just one from 1v1s that has been a plague for Japanese players, I think, since they came out.
I feel like in this one, yeah, you definitely can't just play this like standard Japan fast castle. First of all, like having the gold forward there in this position, and then Annotant and B, they got great civs for early aggression there. I wonder if maybe like a Koka could have been the play there for Baltune. Just get Koka out, you're able to intercept more, then you follow that up with some horsemen in there as well. You're able to like disable some of the military production buildings with the shinobi, get some of the horsemen out, deny some of the archers coming out. It was a trickle in the end, right? Like it was a trickle across the map. Sass can't intercept the trickle when he goes Council Hall. No. If he goes for King's Abbey, maybe, but I don't think he can do so just with the longbows. It's too dangerous against the Sabahi.
Well, I thought Abbey of Kings in general would have worked better, right? Like, maybe the idea behind Horseman isn't bad here, because, yes, there'll be Sabahi, but the reality check there is you have healing, they don't, so you just pull away, you buy time. I think as a team, they'll realize, like, there was maybe more they could have done to offset that. I agree with the Koka. I think Koka's been the rise. Kura is just kind of going out of the door at this point. Koka gives you a lot of pressure. It's difficult when you're anticipating archers from HRE, but it at least gives you some options. Really, if you think about it, when you look at the Kura, was it needed by the time the game was over? If the answer is no, then it didn't really get a chance to serve any true purpose, even if you were touching the farms. But either way, a dominant opening set coming in from DEDA. That means they take it 3-0. Oiling Boil having a rough start to this day, but we are having a fast start to this day as well.